I've been watching the Olympics the last couple weeks, as I'm sure many of you have, at least I hope you have. And there's something beautiful about these athletes and these events happening on snow and ice. The colors of their uniforms cast on the white background. I watch in awe, and I think that each event should start with a warning label. Attention! What you're about to see should only be attempted by trained professionals. Do not try them at home. These sports are so demanding, so incredible, and the training these athletes dedicate themselves to just blows my mind. So I sit there at my age, watching these incredible, almost superhuman young people do these extraordinary, dangerous things after years of practice over and over for the love of their sport. And I know concretely that, I can't do any of it. When I read the readings today, especially the gospel, I had that same initial feeling. There should be a warning label. These things should only be attempted by professionals. Do not try them at home. So incredibly direct and demanding are Jesus' words in the gospel that at first they seem like they shouldn't be meant for normal Christians like us. I mean, really, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, pray for those who mistreat you, turn the other cheek, give your tunic as well, give to someone without any expectation of anything back. Jesus can't possibly be talking to us. I mean, who can do this? If we look at the state of things in our world and our nation, I think we can all agree the challenge of this gospel today seems impossible. Can you imagine, just for a moment, if we could all take to heart the gospel message, even in some small way? If we spent as much time listening to one another, appreciating our differences and different views as we do being critical, name-calling, what our country and even our world could look like. Today, the message seems like an impossible challenge, but it is what Jesus wants us to do. Jesus continues to teach us this week how he defines love. By the words of the Beatitudes last week, as well as our message today, Jesus teaches us that true love, God's love, is not a feeling, it is so much more. Feelings of love come and go, but what we hear today is that God's love is merciful, permanent, reliable, unchanging. And God tells us directly today that he wants us to love like he does. So how can we do this? Jesus teaches us that love is an action. It's so much more than just a feeling. It's real, it's tangible, expressed, and deliberate action that we are to engage in actively and purposefully. And as we see in the example of the gospel today, even when we don't feel like it, or when it may not fit my narrative. And my narrative doesn't matter, because the love Jesus asks of us today reminds us that as Christians, my life is not just about me. It is about you. And we are responsible for one another. It's not about an individual, it's about all of us. Jesus called all people to him. All have a place at his table. His message, his commands, his teaching were meant for all. He speaks to all people to pull us together in his love and live that love for one another. So we take to heart Jesus' message today. It can truly shed maybe a different light on the season of Lent, which we are about to start. We're given a season in which we can truly expand our capacity to be filled by God. We do this very concretely through prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. And we do not do these things to participate in some kind of just spiritual moment. We will set aside time to pray because we know prayer brings us closer to God, more open to how he speaks to us. We fast from whatever obstacles keep us from a deeper spiritual life so God can fill us more completely. We care for the poor, knowing that Christ is in our world disguised as the disadvantaged, the stranger, the immigrant, the distraught, those who have nothing. So in other words, if we become absorbed into God's love, the things that so characterize our world today that we think are so important have no room. We fill ourselves with God, and we become free to love each other as he asks, actively and purposefully, and we meet the challenge of this gospel today. My brothers and sisters, I may not be able to do the things the Olympic athletes do. They're for those who are trained to do it. But I'm certainly very capable to change my life, my heart, myself in ways that live this gospel today. It's a challenge. It's being aware, mindful every day that we are all part of one another. You and I, our families, co-workers, strangers, even those who we may disagree or seem to have nothing in common. Let us fill ourselves with the active love of Christ. If we can do this, the gospel becomes something rather ordinary and routine, and we won't need any warning labels.